The bus stop was quiet, just the hum of morning traffic and the shuffle of commuters. A black woman stepped on board with nothing but a coffee in her hand and a job interview to reach. But she didn't know that in the next 30 seconds, a single officer's rage, a live stream camera, and one sentence would change his entire career forever. Because when Officer Hale grabbed her arm, dragged her down those metal steps, and threw her onto the sidewalk, he thought the world wasn't watching. He thought she was powerless. He thought she was alone. He was wrong. Very, very wrong. The number 14 bus was always crowded at 7:42 a.m. People heading to work, kids with backpacks, nurses on night shift ending their day. Among them was Marina Lewis, calm, composed, dressed in a neat navy blazer. Today was her big interview at the county medical center. She tapped her Metro card, nodded politely to the driver, and moved to an empty seat. But before she could sit, a voice snapped through the air. "Hey, you! Stop right there!" Officer Robert Hale climbed the steps with the swagger of a man who mistook authority for power. His sunglasses hid his eyes, but not his attitude. "ID," he barked. Marina blinked. "For riding the bus?" Some passengers looked away, others stared, no one moved. Hale stepped closer. "Don't play smart, show it or you're getting off." She took a breath. "Sir, I'm just trying to get to work." That sentence was enough to snap whatever restraint he had left. In a single motion, he grabbed her forearm, yanked her forward, and dragged her toward the door. Her coffee spilled, splashing over the seats. Gasps filled the bus. Someone screamed, "Hey! Leave her alone!" But Hale didn't care. He pushed her down the steps and she fell hard onto the pavement. He stood above her like a conqueror. "You people never learn," he muttered. What he didn't notice, couldn't notice, was the passenger in seat 3A. A teenage boy, holding his phone upright, live stream on, thousands watching, and one person among them. Someone Hale should have feared more than any badge in the city. Marina sat on the cold pavement, her blazer stained with dust and coffee. She wasn't crying. She wasn't shouting. She wasn't begging. Her calmness only made the moment heavier. Pedestrians paused. Cars slowed. A woman snapped photos. A cyclist yelled at the officer, "She didn't do anything!" Officer Hale puffed his chest. "Back off! This is police business!" Marina looked up at him, not with fear, but with something sharper. Disappointment. She slowly stood up. "I didn't break any law," she said quietly. Hale stepped closer, nose flaring. "You broke my patience." Behind him, the teenage live streamer whispered to his friend, "Chat's going crazy. Someone important just joined." He didn't know how important. He didn't know that Marina wasn't just anybody. She wasn't powerless. She wasn't unprotected. And she definitely wasn't alone. Because the name Marina Lewis didn't just belong to a woman trying to reach a job interview. It belonged to someone whose influence reached deeper than Hale could imagine. Someone whose family had spent the last 30 years inside the very system he thought he controlled. As Hale threatened her with arrest, as the bus driver argued with him, as strangers gathered, something else was happening across town. In the police headquarters, inside a glass-walled office, a phone buzzed. Chief Donovan glanced at the notification, a live stream link. Caption, "Officer harassing innocent woman." He almost ignored it until he saw the name in the comments. That's Marina Lewis. The Marina. His stomach dropped. He tapped the link. The live stream loaded, and his world turned cold. Inside the precinct, Chief Donovan froze as the live stream played in front of him. This wasn't just misconduct. This wasn't just excessive force. This wasn't just an abuse of authority. This was career suicide, broadcast in HD. He zoomed in. The officer on screen? Hale. Of course it was Hale. A history of warnings, reprimands, angry civilians filing complaints, but somehow he had survived every one of them. But today he had chosen the wrong woman. Donovan turned to his deputy. Get every unit on standby. We're going to 14th Avenue now. But, sir, now! Because Chief Donovan finally remembered who Marina was. Her mother, Judge Evelyn Lewis, one of the sharpest legal minds in the state. Her uncle, a federal attorney. Her brother, a civil rights investigator. Her family had put more corrupt officers behind bars than any internal affairs team in the region. And Hale had just dragged their daughter across a bus step like she was disposable. The camera angle shifted. Hale was yelling now. Passengers were yelling back. Marina remained still, silent, watching. The kind of silence that didn't signal fear. It signaled strategy. Donovan grabbed his coat. "We need to get there before she makes a call," he muttered. But he was already too late. Marina finally reached into her pocket. Her hand didn't shake. Her voice didn't tremble. She lifted the phone with the same calmness she had worn since the moment Hale grabbed her. "Mom," she said. Just one word. Hale froze. Judge Evelyn Lewis's voice crackled through the speaker. "Tell me you're safe." "I'm fine," Marina replied. The crowd around them quieted. They felt it, the shift in power. "But someone here has made a mistake," Marina continued softly. A deep, cold silence followed. Then the judge's voice sharpened. "Is the camera live?" "Yes." "Good. Stay where you are. Do not move. Do not argue. I'll handle everything." Marina ended the call. She looked at Hale. "You shouldn't have put your hands on me," Hale scoffed. "I'll put you in cuffs if you don't shut your mouth." From behind him, someone said, "You're already done, man." He ignored them. He didn't care. But he should have, because within 30 seconds, police cars were racing toward the bus stop, lights flashing, sirens blaring, the chief standing in the passenger seat shouting orders over the radio. And Hale? He didn't know that his career was already gone. He didn't know that the clip had reached the mayor. He didn't know that major news outlets were already downloading it. He didn't know that Judge Lewis was calling the DA herself. He didn't know that the world was watching. He only knew one thing. Marina was staring at him with a calmness he couldn't shake. The calmness of someone who wasn't afraid of him, but someone he should have been afraid of.
The moment the patrol SUV screeched to a stop, Chief Donovan slammed the door open before the wheels finished rolling. He stormed toward the scene, eyes locked on Hale. "Hale!" The officer straightened, surprised. "Chief, sir, I..." "Step away from her." Hale hesitated. "Now!" The command cracked across the street like thunder. Hale reluctantly stepped back, confusion twisting his face. Donovan turned to Marina, his voice instantly gentler. "Ma'am, are you injured?" "No." "Did he put hands on you?" "Yes." Just one word, but it hit harder than any punch. The chief closed his eyes. He knew what had to happen. He turned to Hale. "Your weapon. Your badge." Hale's jaw dropped. "What?" "Chief, come on. This woman. Badge. Now." Hale didn't move. So Donovan shouted again. "I said now." Commuters filmed everything. Hale's hands trembled as he removed his badge and gun belt. "You're suspending me?" Over her. The chief stepped closer, voice low enough to burn. "Hale, do you have any idea who she is?" Hale blinked. "What?" Donovan pointed at Marina. "That is Judge Lewis's daughter." Gasps spread through the crowd. The teenage live streamer whispered, "OH my God." Hale staggered back as if punched. Judge Lewis. The woman whose rulings shaped the state. The woman whose legal decisions officers respected or feared. And he had dragged her daughter off a bus like she was trash. "Chief, I didn't know." "You didn't need to know," Donovan snapped. "You treat every citizen with respect." He leaned in closer. "But the fact that you chose her, on camera, in front of hundreds of thousands live." He took a breath. "Hale, you're finished." Within minutes, the clip spread like wildfire. Major news outlets grabbed it instantly. Officer drags innocent woman off bus. Live stream explodes. Comment sections flooded with outrage. Civil rights groups issued statements before noon. Celebrities posted the clip with captions like, "No black woman should ever be treated like this." At the precinct, reporters swarmed the entrance. Is Officer Hale fired? Did he know who she was? Why was she targeted? The mayor held an emergency press conference. This is unacceptable. Effective immediately, Officer Hale is removed from duty pending full investigation. For the first time in his career, Hale felt fear. Real, suffocating fear. His phone buzzed nonstop with messages from lawyers, union reps, friends, and enemies. Inside the chief's office, Donovan slammed a folder onto the table. "You're lucky this isn't worse," he muttered. Hale snapped. "It was just a misunderstanding." Donovan exploded. "You drag a woman off a bus on camera. You mocked her. You used racialized language. You embarrassed the department." He pointed toward the window where reporters gathered. "You embarrassed the entire city." And then Donovan said something he rarely said. "You embarrass me." Hale's eyes watered. "Sir, I didn't know who she was." "That's the problem," Donovan replied. "You shouldn't have needed to." Hours later, Marina stood at a small podium outside her home. No lawyer beside her. No entourage. Just calm dignity. Cameras snapped wildly. "Miss Lewis, do you want the officer jailed? Are you pressing charges?" Marina took a breath. "I don't want revenge," she said. Her voice was soft, but carried like a bell. "I want accountability." Reporters quieted. She continued, "No woman, and no black woman, should be treated like a threat for simply riding a bus. I was not harmed physically, but thousands of others are harmed every day and never get recorded." She looked straight into the cameras. If not for a teenage boy with a phone, this would have been buried. Her tone sharpened. "So let me make this clear. Respect is not negotiable, and neither is justice." The clip went viral instantly. People marched downtown that evening holding signs. Respect is not negotiable. Judge Lewis later stepped forward, confirming legal action would follow. The DA opened an investigation. The police union distanced itself from Hale. And Hale? He sat alone in a dim apartment, watching his own downfall replayed on every news channel. His career wasn't just damaged. It was gone. 1 week later, Officer Robert Hale was officially fired. The department released a statement acknowledging excessive force, bias, and misconduct. The mayor approved mandatory de-escalation training citywide. Judge Lewis spoke publicly for the first time. No badge excuses disrespect. Marina returned to her quiet life, still attending her interview and getting the job on the spot. But something else happened too. Something bigger. Across the country, people replayed the clip as a reminder of how quickly power can be abused and how quickly it can be corrected. Because in the end, Marina didn't shout. She didn't fight. She didn't argue. She didn't even raise her voice. She simply stood up, told the truth, and let the world witness what happens when dignity refuses to bow to arrogance. And now, if you believe no woman deserves to be dragged, mocked, or humiliated simply for existing, do one thing. Thumbs up like this video. Speech balloon comment where you're watching from. Mobile phone with arrow share this story everywhere. Bell subscribe for more stories that expose abuse and celebrate justice. Because sometimes power doesn't roar. Sometimes power just says, "You're finished."